see what goes down as we start in the bottom right corner. With the blue Zerg player in this Dragon Phoenix Gaming Showdown, it is Rogue. Up against the red Terran in the top left-hand side, we've got ourselves Cure. Game 1. Best of 3. Cure undefeated in this event so far, hasn't even dropped a map. Rogue needs a win to get himself a chance of advancing. So what does it actually look like? Heroes 2 and 2. 4 and 5 map score. Rogue is 1 and 3, 3 and 6 map score. So Heroes -1, Rogue is -3. So basically, if Rogue 2-0s, he would be -1, and then Hero would only need a map. And he would still be through. So actually, Hero only needs to win one map no matter what, and Rogue must 2-0. Well, he doesn't. Rogue could win 2-1, and then if Hero loses 2-0, then it's okay as well, maybe. Yeah, Hero just needs a map win, though. No, actually, the map win doesn't necessarily do it, because he could still go -1 after that. So he could still go -1, he'd be -2. Okay. I'm not 100% sure. I guess we'll see what Rogue does against Q. A 2-0 would be the best case scenario, though, for Rogue. It's as simple as that in that regard. 2-0 is going to make it just a little easier, a little bit less complicated in terms of what he needs. He needs Hero to lose against Q, though. He needs to beat Q, and he needs Hero to lose. The exact map scores we'll talk about a little bit after this. Q is confirmed first already? Really? Wow. Because he's 3 and 0, 6 and 0, so even if he goes 0-2-0-2, he'd be 3 and 2, and no one can overtake him on like a -2 map score. Because he's ahead of Inno, he's ahead of Björn, and Hoover can't overtake him as well. Wow, so Q is already first place in this group. This group's been kind of crazy, actually. The fact that Q is already first place, and he still has 2 matches left to play, like, that's just really wild. I mean, that's obviously because he went 2-0 in all his games. The map score definitely helping. Yeah, everyone's kind of been beating everyone. It's definitely been an entertaining time. Damn. So yeah, Kuro already confirmed first place out of the group. That means he gets to skip the first 2 matches. The playoffs, of course, he just starts in essentially the regional grand final. Or the Korean grand final. Let's talk a little bit about Berlingrad anyways, instead of, necessarily all the tournament stuff. This map has this little mineral wall rocks in front of your natural. You go to a 3rd, a 4th, which is a little bit more open potentially as these rocks go down. And then the 5th base on this map, it really feels like, I guess you go down here. Up here feels like a bit of a stretch away. So I feel like you continue through the bottom side of the map. Kind of intriguing that you take this as your 3rd then as Rogue. I wonder if Terran would do that too, if they would choose to... I'd imagine actually because Rogue takes this base here, Q almost definitely takes a 3rd here, but there's a lot of entrances to this base, so maybe you take the 3rd here so you can actually wall it off. You don't expand then towards the Zerg as much, but you don't have to deal with the run-bys as heavily either, so, it's kind of like one of those scenarios where it's a little bit of a positive here and negative there. Bit of a mix and match. Yeah, Kira's ahead of Innovation no matter what because of head-to-head. Because Kira beat Innovation head-to-head. So if the map scores are even, which is possible that Innovation gets even map score with Kira. But the head-to-head just means that he has the advantage anyway. That's pretty crazy. Like I say, it's not often you have someone guaranteed first and they still have 2 of their matches to play. Usually someone's guaranteed first because they beat everybody else, and it's like, okay, cool. But yeah, not the case here. Kira. He really dominated on day 1, to be fair. He looked really good. Definitely showed us some cool games. That's Reaper Hellion. Moving around the center, the other Hellions making their way forward also. Impact on the way up. Liberator coming through. Just gonna see that Viking of Kure back towards the top, looking for Overlord. It's right here, the Overlord that he wants to find. He's just not been able to find that yet. Will take a while for him too. He's actually kind of rallied all the way around it, just not where it actually is meant to be. Builder Q is pretty kind of happy and just kind of get going as well, right? There's just going to be Hellion Liberator. I'm going to stim behind this with a third CC in position already. You know, it's just a pretty peaceful way to get set up. Nothing wild about it. You know, it gives you good little options of harassment as he kind of dies pretty hard with the Liberator. That will get 4 drones, 5 drones, and then go down. And the Hellions don't really find an opening at the same time, unfortunately, but it's not so bad. Hellions going to poke around the side. I mean, 5 drones off the Lib is actually really good. The fact Rogue just said, I'll kill this instead of pulling workers, kind of backfired a little bit, I gotta say. Now the rest of these Hellions make their way over. And just still doing actually a pretty good job of denying creep, if nothing else. Now Rogue does have this round of Zergling's going to run by unprotected third base, but the Hellions are on the way back. Meanwhile, the Viking finally found some Overlords to kill. Maybe not the easiest kill of all. He is actually rallied to go there eventually. But for now, he's actually going to find himself a second Overlord. If he doesn't get killed off by the Queen. Uh-oh. Viking going to get the Overlord and then get away. Now does Q still rally around here? Looks like he will, so he'll still get the Overlord on the top side. Nice. Kind of incredible that survived so long. Nice denial on 2 creep tumors. Using the grenade to minimize the damage the Hellion Reaper takes as well. Perfect. Oh, this is actually going to morph into an Overseer. It stayed alive too long. Should be able to get out now again. Just going to be seeing our medevacs making their way over here. Going to unload a little bit. These Marines unloading. Queen's coming through, helping the medevac Marines stay back. Just slightly. Again, 1-1 about to be completed. Burrow is going to be done in a few moments. Baneling's speed is going to be continuing up as well. Factory on the way from Kira in the main base. We're just going to be seeing still the rest of the Ling Bane gathering out the front. I mean, as Kira hits the 1-1 upgrades, generally this is one of the first times he pushes in the game with like a larger army. And that's exactly what he's starting to set himself up for here as well. So, getting to move into position for that. Grabs Cryptium at the front, the rest of the Ling Bane goes around the left side. A bit of a scan. Pressing forward a little bit. Plenty of creep push back. Widowmine or 2 if they retarget onto the chunk of units. Are gonna kill a hell of a lot. That was a massive Widowmine connection. Retargeted a couple of times. Got off before it got killed. If there was an Overseer there initially, that Widowmine doesn't do anywhere near as much. But the Overseer was late to the party. Now Kira has some good momentum moving forward here. And wants to keep on pushing into this base. As you see, the Queen's taking a bit of damage, but then they do heal each other up with the transfusions. Backing it up, a Queen that's a little bit off creep goes down. Hided down on the ways to Rogue, showing his way he wants to end up on. One thing I do feel about this map, kind of looking at this game at the moment, is it feels, even though Q has kind of pushed back a lot of the creep in the center, it feels like Rogue still has a lot of bases and a lot of ground covered. And for how effective Q has been in trading and kind of taking map control, I don't feel as though Rogue should be feeling so comfortable as he is right now. Big counterattack, we'll see what this will do. Looks like Q is well prepared. Hellions at home, Marines at home. Only issue for the Hellions is they were kind of in a weird corner, but the Lings give up on the surround. So actually the Hellions do get out of that. They'll move into Hellbats for the next fight. As Q is still pushing around the right side. Very similar to what Bjorn was doing against Rogue earlier. 2 armies, one defending, or then turning into an attack, and the other one on the other side of the map. Just keeping the pressure up. Looks like we are going to split this army in half for Q as he continues to try and deal some damage. The Reaper goes down as the few Banes will connect in. Marines have a lot of HP left on them. And they're going to lift up now as actually he doesn't lift up all the Marines, leaves a few behind. We're stimming down to the south and definitely looking to make a play on this base, but unfortunately these armies were not synced up. If they were, would have given Kira a little bit more time to get in to get some damage done. And instead now Rogue is a little bit better prepared for this position. And here we'll still try and fight it. There's 2-2 for the Zerg at the moment though, so that's going to help him a whole bunch. Rogue able to take a better fight than expected here. Actually a pretty good shutdown as Q is going to continue trying to drop so far behind in the upgrades. He's got to fight against 2-2 for such a long time. Doesn't find the target fire on that single Baneling either, so missing out on that. We saw a Hydroden, right? Lurkerden is down, and you can see that the Seismic Spines is coming, so we're on the way to Lurkers. As the Medivacs continue to kind of hide over to the right side. Couple Bane showing up, and the Marines have to load up once again. The rest of these Marines getting down to the south, and will go in after this hatchery. Hatchery going to take quite a bit of damage. The rest of the Ling is going to run up top. I mean, Marines in the wall should be okay. They're going to have to run over to deal with it, though. And obviously, Q is still trying to control 2 different armies as well, so it is going to make things a bit complicated. Oh my... What? Those Lings just murdered those SCVs. 26 workers dead. I never in my life would have imagined that that would have done so much damage here for Rogue. Bit of damage, sure. I could see it doing something, but that much damage? That's ridiculous. That is crazy. That's really crazy, actually. Can't quite believe that. Alright, CC coming in to the left side. Wouldn't mind the medevac, gonna go boosting through. Gonna start to unload. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Gonna blow up a few of these drones. 11 workers dead. And gonna get a good clump of Zerglings as well. Nice mine drop. Definitely feels like something Q needs after that previous set of losses he just had to face. Still can't quite get over what he just lost on that Ling run by. Ling's actually going to get forward here. The Wooded Mines get blown up before they hit, and now the Lings find their way into the mineral line, or into the natural, I should say, instead. But, well, I mean, Kira had other units from the other side still coming through, but then the Lings got in the main, and if nothing more, it's just annoying. Splitting up now, going to start forcing scans. Just being as annoying as possible. Passing bomb here, and those medevacs must split. One of them will go down. If they hadn't split, all 3 would have been goners. You still have Widow Mines over on this side, burrowing up, being picked away at. And those Lings in the main, they can unburrow, they can be annoying if they don't get scanned right. So something else, maybe get a few more SCVs out of this further down the line. Kira establishes the 4th base on the left. Feels like that's pretty late. I mean, he was being kept pretty busy by Rogue's movement and Rogue's attacks, so maybe not too surprising as we push up the ramp, and these couple of Queens are going to try and make something of a hole, try and slow this down if at all possible. Meanwhile, Rogue is moving all of his Lurkers on the left side, so the Lurkers are on a mission to deny base 4. There's a few Lurkers here that just literally ran on top of these Marines before burrowing. One Lurker still over here, going to do a little bit of something, but getting picked off. Rogue in some trouble back at home. His Lurkers on the other side are definitely going to do a lot, though. I mean, they're going to pick off anything running down this ramp. He's probably going to get access to the 3rd base as well if these Lurkers reposition. These Banelings are not going to get to finish either, so Rogue missing the splash damage he needs to clean this army up. We continue through, and these Queens are being chased away as well. There's the push onto that 3rd base instead as well, by the way, so actually just does that with the Lurkers from the natural. He brings the other Lurkers back home, so he will be able to burrow these up on top of the army, and everything's low HP, so it's getting massacred. Q's supply plummets. 27 SCVs to 40 drones left in the game right now. We move up to the high ground. Playing Lurker getting here. Blinding Cloud popping down. And these few medevacs are still going to be in a bit of trouble. I mean, actually taking a bunch of damage from a Spore Crawler. Queens can actually just kill a couple of these medevacs too. 1, 2. Just doesn't quite get 3. Now he does, in fact, as it stops to drop. Well, Kyo just lost a lot of his medevacs there. The Lurker's running in to try and get on top of this arm, and he does get there. More Lurkers showing up too. The speed of them on creep is pretty crazy as the Lings show up as well. Some tanks here, but not siege. And okay, now Rogue says maybe I'm going to lift up and pull this away. 88 to 76 supply. Those Lurkers still firing. The Lings and the Queens continue down as well. And tanks still sieging, still trying to push on through. Finding Cloud to help try and nullify the tank attacks. One tank goes down, another one as well. Only one left standing. Here is Kua. This attack's going to run out of steam. Another parasitic bomb is going to kill 2 medevacs. Yeah, the Viper usage has been great as well. Love the bombs, just calm, collected, and also the Blinding Cloud was perfectly placed on a couple tanks, making sure to minimize the effectiveness of what was left from Kia, which just wasn't that much anyway. Looks like Rogue might be able to grab himself game 1 of this series. Marines coming through. Overlord just going to get picked off already. Going to see 4 more Lurkers on the way up as well. Bioforce going to move to the right side. He's going to get an OV2. A parasitic bomb goes down on a Medivac. It's just going to split away again. Rogue has a lot of bases, and Rogue's just going to regain control of everything at this stage. He's got an army still left standing. Cure doesn't have much to work with. I mean, he can kill an Overlord here and there, but that's probably the best one he's going to find. He's got an upgrade lead, but also just not the unit number to make the most of that upgrade lead as well, right? So yeah, looks like we're gonna have ourselves Rogue taking the first map to this best of 3 series. There's just not too much left for Kira, unfortunately. Fun game. Lots of action around the 3rd to the 4th base. Yeah, Rogue went up here for this 5th base, which I was kind of surprised by. I was talking earlier about expecting it to be down here, but I think in a game which Kira has a bit more control on, I think this base is tougher to hold, because Kira's got the base here that he pushes forward from. But maybe even expand here, and then Rogue goes down there. Maybe Rogue says if you expand here and I go down here, maybe then you can deny that easily. I mean, in this game, Kira just didn't have a 4th base up soon enough for any of that to matter. His 4th base was very delayed. Oh, welcome back to you all. Thank you so much to the Primes. Thank you, as we dive on into game number 2 of Rogue and Cure. We are playing here on Undercity. The boom emote, the bomb. You think the bomb needs to blow up? The sub bombs? That actually would be pretty good. Yeah, I need to, I would have to go to my artist, though, to get those ones animated, because they have licenses over the emotes, and we can't edit them ourselves and stuff without, you know what I mean, like, that sort of stuff. WardiTV should animate. Well, I actually have, so this is what I'm saying, I actually have a version of WardiTV, which is, I wonder if I can actually just upload that now. Give me a sec, let me see if I can just upload it. Maybe I can. Because this is from way long ago. Image contains too many frames. Maybe I can't. Rogue is bottom right and Kira's top left one. Undercity, which is one of these 4-player maps, but we get cross spawns, so we're gonna spawn cross from each other. I gotta say, I kind of felt like that last game. Kira definitely had moments where he's looking like really, really good. The Rogue did a fantastic job of fighting back and regaining control of the game at times. So yeah, here we are, cross spawns on Undercity. I mean, it means we don't have any sort of, you know, rotational balance to discuss or anything along those lines. Obviously, we've got ourselves these massive mineral walls on either side to really make it so that these super close rush distances aren't super effective, and also these rocks to slow you down a bit as well, make this choke point narrower. When it comes to the cross spawn situation, I'm kind of excited to see how the you know, how the middle of the map works out. I don't know if we've seen cross spawns on Undercity just yet. Yeah, I'm not sure if we've seen cross spawn on Undercity in the event so far. So that might be cool to see if it works out or so. Putting some damage in. Just going to be seeing the maybe pulling back a bit factory. Going to be finishing up as well, and the reactor going to be done on the racks also. Just get ourselves rolling. Is this a new ladder map? All of these maps in this tournament could be future ladder maps. This is the whole point of the Team Liquid map contest tournament. To test out the maps that are in the Team Liquid map contest, which are essentially competing to maybe be ladder maps. Whether the 4-player ones make it as a ladder map, I'm genuinely doubtful. I really am doubtful at the moment. I think like ESL or someone would really have to push for it, because there's going to be a lot of blowback from the players. The players have already been very, very loud. Even the Koreans I've seen typing to each other have been kind of saying like, oh, like, why are there 4-player maps? Like, we should just keep vetoing these and stuff. It's, yeah, nobody is being positive about the 4-player maps at the moment. And to be fair, I think Undercity might be one of the better 4-player maps in this map pool, of the finalists that we've got. I think we've seen a lot of just how bad the 4-player maps can be and how abusable they can be for certain spawn locations. Innovation Rogue, 100% Rogue lost because of spawns. I'd say Rogue Beyond earlier today, Rogue lost because of spawns. We've just seen a lot of issues. The Tidehunter games we did see had a lot of kind of, big airplay, unclosed spawns as well. There's absolutely been problems with them that we just don't see on 2-player maps, I think. Isn't that the whole point of this tourney? Or to try out the map? Well, yeah, but I feel like none of the maps that are in the finalists that are 4 players really do a good enough job where the pros are going to be happy with it. I think I do think this map is probably your best chance of seeing a 4-player map, because I actually think this one does it pretty okay. I think this one's got a bit of potential. I think Bulwark obviously has some issues. Maybe Jacaranda too. I haven't seen too many issues with Jacaranda yet. But Bulwark and Tidehunter are definitely seemingly problematic. Big Halberd attack comes in from Cure as Rogue prepares a defense. He's got a few Banes morphing, but really only a couple. And that's going to make it problematic as, well, I mean, good first connections. Those Banes hit 3 Hellbats each. Queens put in the work as well. The Medevac needs to get targeted. The Spore Crawler will help with that now. In fact, double Spore Crawler at the front. The Medevac's still alive though, so still be able to heal pretty much throughout this. Well, one Overlord out the front will get chased away and taken down, but other than that, I think pretty good hold from Rogue. I mean, obviously the Balins connected where they needed to. They did what was necessary. He's going to get a second Overlord kill here as well. He's going to go into a Spire behind this, so he is on his way into a, a Spire, right? Just going into basically a Mutalisk follow-up from this. It's actually going to be nice against the Banshees. We'll give him something to chase those Banshees away with fairly easily, so the Banshees shouldn't be able to do too much. Cloak is done for them. They'll be a part of this game fairly soon. Little Ling Runby already heading across the map. He's going to turn it back around once again. That's going to be seeing how a few extra Marines continue to come on through. And the game just builds up a bit. 4-player maps force mix-up. They add a lot more variety. I honestly, I don't really agree. I feel like what does a 4-player map really create? Like, what does this map create that other maps don't? In cross spawns, nothing really. The only diversity a 4-player map adds is like, oh, you can spawn differently. And again, then the problem with that is typically those spawns are just better for one race than another, and it becomes RNG. And it's so difficult to balance that. Like, is the variety you guys are looking for? So you just want someone to be at a natural disadvantage based on spawns at a random time that the map is played? So that's not good, right? Like, I don't know. I feel like a good 4-player map can still be good. I still am against the idea of adding a 4-player map for the sake of having a 4-player map, right? These Banshees just did a ridiculous amount of damage. 18 drones just went down. I mean, that's a massive hit to Rogue's economy. It doesn't mean he's got forced to kind of build a lot of just drones to kind of keep back up on where he was on economy. So while he's still at a worker lead, don't think that those worker kills did nothing. It will slow down his unit production. That might actually give Kira a better time pushing once he gets up to the 1-1 finishing. Well, the run by here gets 4 SCVs, so at least Rogue doing something to maybe try and slow Kira down. We've seen a couple more Marines being picked away at. The meters are doing pretty well. Some nice little pickoffs here and actually helping a good amount, because I feel like Kira is not far off the idea of just going across the map and pushing, but, with 1-1 being done. But the meters will definitely, de-incentivize that idea. Because now you're like, well, if I go, the meters might counterattack. They might do well. They've already been doing well while my army's here. So you're a little bit unsure as Kira, and maybe now he's not going to make his way over to make use of the 1-1 upgrades, which are massively in his favor. He needs to remember to start 2-2 as well. Keep that upgrade advantage in his favor. Wardy aren't all maps favored by one race or another. What's the difference? Because, say for example, you veto Undercity. The problem is, like, it changes based on the spawns. So you don't know, that, like, players are just going to veto it because it could be good for them, or it might not be good for them. Right? And so basically it's like, well, if that map's in the map pool, you win or lose it based on the idea of whether your opponent, what spawns you get. Versus, at least if you know that a certain map's favored for a race, you've got to, you know that that's going to be your veto, or it's going to be one of the main picks of the other guy. But if you have a 4-player map that could swing either way, it can just shift the entire map balance otherwise, right, in a series. Like, all of a sudden, a 5th map that's meant to be even is suddenly either Terran or Zerg favored because it can, depend on the spawns. So yeah, every map has its different racial balances. That's obviously true. And in that regard, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing for the 4-player spawns. I just think it's really tough that it is very randomized and can maybe be the deciding factor of a game before the game even starts. The game's just like, oh, well, you basically as a Zerg player have to win before you go to 3 bases because otherwise your 3rd base is unholdable, sort of thing. So yeah. It doesn't rely on skill. It just makes it a lot more about the RNG of where you spawn versus your style. Like, obviously, every spawn, some players will be able to pick off wins, but it just adds a state of randomness to the game that people don't really like to play with in Starcraft 2, I think. It's just that added randomness for the sake of having added randomness, I think it's been very apparent on the 4-player maps as well when we've had close spawns. You've seen people play in weird ways and different ways because they know one style is just going to be very good for the spawn that they got. And the other guy's just not being able to do much about it. Isling's going to come and get us around on the Marines. Marines do lift up and back away. I do actually think Undercity, this game has been pretty cool. The negative here for the cross spawns is that Zerg is going to love it because it's just massive when you have cross spawn 4-player maps. The map is just big. So that's always nice. But I actually don't think this map is... I think this map might be the best contender out of the 4-player maps. And again, a pretty nice game here as Widowmine's going to kill a bunch of drones. STVs have been going down too. Both sides of this game have been pretty aggressive as Kira comes back up to deflect those mutalisks. He has tried to make a peek in, but don't really get there. This is going to continue to make their way down to the south, and we're just going to be seeing the Overlord in the sky gets picked off. Hive is still building from Rogue, so he's taking up 2. And this attack Akira upgrades +2 is done at least on the attack. He's missing the armor, but he might be able to still trade pretty well with this. Let's see. He's still got a little drop over here. The meters go to deal with that. The Lings are running into this, but no Baneling support, so Rogue underprepared for this fight. In fact, he just doesn't have Banelings ready in the slightest. Sakura's going to take a great fight over here. 20 drones already going down. This entire mineral line cleared out. 22 workers, that's mineral and gas drones all dead. And so many Lings thrown into this position to achieve absolutely nothing. Kira showing up with an amazing push, and Rogue underprepared to deal with it. A few Banes that finish morphing do show up, and they do start to commit in. And now the Mutas will get the momentum to actually start cleaning up as well. Wow, even after that, Rogue is actually still going to come out of this in an okay position. Part of this, Kira no 4th base, right? He is just on, 3 bases, 5 racks, 2 factories. He's very committed to this kind of timing. And that's going to be the biggest issue of all, that Kira does not have a follow-up to this, because now Rogue is going to be able to chase Kira down, clean him up. Yeah, this is obviously rough, as we're going to see all of these medevacs continuing to drop. Some multiple medevacs going down. Just going to see that Widowmine wanted to turn onto an Overseer or so. Yeah. The rest of the meters looking to try and jump in again. Good turnaround from Rogue. This fight and this defense over here was horrible, but he did find the defense in the end. And again, I think if Kira had a 4th base up behind this already, he would win this game. But because this was off 3 bases at 30 minutes, so you're really mining out of the main, the natural, Rogue is able to just come back and to shut this down and clear that out. Obviously, these minerals being mined out, opening the pathway to this space. Probably going to start doing the same on this side as well in the near future. So we've seen the Mutas flying up, and they're going to try and find a a bit of a way in as well. Trying to find some openings, trying to find some opportunities as we continue on. Mutas are just going to dominate this game now, I think. This is the problem. Like, now the muta count has gotten too high, and Q doesn't really have anything to really go out on the map with. I don't think he's got a way to get across the map or anything, so Rogue all of a sudden just ends up on so many bases. He recovers from that attack, and this looks like it's going to be a Rogue 2-0. Muta's around the left, just going to see the Bioforce making its way through the center. I mean, Kira gets the 4th up in the form of his main base relocated. Let's dive in. They grab the medevac. Couple Widow Mines here get taken down. This time he doesn't lose drones to it as well. It's well handled by Rogue late in the game, but still paying attention to that mini-map, minimizing any of the damage that Kira tries to get out in this game at the moment. Well handled, all in all. Still, the Muta's going to be the dominating factor here. A couple turrets are not going to last very long. The Widow Mines nearly blow them all up, though. And that base will actually hold its own. Wow. What a way to turn those Mutas around and maybe give Kira a bit of hope again as he's pushing down the bottom. Obviously, Ultras are on the way as well here from Rogue, but they're not ready yet, so there's still a chance. This Widow Mine shot is pretty good. As this army and this medevacs do get chased away. That's the Lings and the Mutas continuing through. The 3 Marines making their way forward as well. Still trying to fight this off, but Rogue is just not stopping. He wants to keep on trading out, and he will just go for this until he's cleaned up everything, because I think he knows that he's just got the economy to rebuild, much more so than Kira does. So he's very happy to keep taking this fight, and to get to that GG, Rogue gets a big 2-0.